Ayatollah Marv, how's it going?
Everything's good.
Yeah, good to have you on the show, man. You know, you guys been making some headlines lately. And
Kind of like,
you know.
ruffled a couple of people's feathers.
Yeah, I seen it.
Oh, did you?
I did. I thought we'd get to know you a little bit better. You know, a lot of
Okay.
people might not know who you are or, you know, who you grew up with. So I figured we'd get into your story a little bit and, you know, get to know you a little bit better.
Sure.
Where'd you grow up at?
Compton, California. Nightmare on Elm Street. Grew up in Compton, original from Compton. Called it Nightmare on Elm Street. We ran Freddy Cougar out of Compton. So got a rich history. Grew up mother and father. Went to school. Did what average people do in a bustling city of Compton at the time. It was a suburban community, home of the spook hunters, the night riders, and the John Burke Society. And we came up on another generation of no-nonsense new breed of black boys, and started creating our own effect and the things that we had. So I grew up in Compton. From originally, our neighborhoods was treetops to swamps, Boot Hill, Front Hood, and Spooktown.
Okay, you mentioned a lot. Well, what years was this that you were referring to?
We're talking about from, we started from the 50s on up to the recent day. I started like 1959.
Okay, so you've been around through it all. You've seen
Everything.
everything.
Yeah.
Okay, how old were you when you first moved to Compton?
I was born in
You were born in Compton.
Yeah.
So this would have been in
1950.
1950. Okay, and what was Compton like for you there when you were growing up?
When I was growing up, Compton was lily white. It was, like I told you, the spook hunters, the Minutemen. These were white dudes that didn't believe blacks could move. After 7 o'clock at night, you couldn't go past Wilmington because the spook hunters would chase you and shoot you with BB guns from out of Victory Park. So my first real interaction, like I tell people, like, we grew up thinking that everybody was all right, that, everybody would be your friends. And these young white boys, I guess they was about 18 and 19 years old, asked us for some information. I went to volunteer to give them this information, and they threw rotten eggs and tomatoes on me. So I'm like 8 years old, and they had the butch haircuts, the T-shirts with the Lucky Strike cigarettes, and it was never forget the Never Like Fords after that, a Crown Victoria, blue and white, and they laughed, had them a good laugh. So I was shocked, like, man, why would somebody do this to me? And went home crying. My mother like, yeah, I told you not to trust white people. Like, man. After that, me and my friends got together. I was so angry about it. I'm like, man, we're getting them back. So we started us a little club, about 6 of us. We was watching Edward G. Robinson and this gang, and it was called the Blackjack Gang. So we went and cut off water hoses and wrapped it with some black tape, and we became the Blackjack Boys. So we went to people's house at night, 10, 11 o'clock at night, and in Compton, all the mailboxes have is in the door, in your front door. When you open, you just slide the mail in, it hits your floor. So we go at night about 11 o'clock and go take your water hose, put the water hose inside the mailbox and turn the water on. You wake up in the morning, your furniture floating like a So we start terrorizing Compton. We go to Richland Farms. The LA Dodgers lived in Richland Farms at that time, and they had horses and this and that. We'd steal their horses in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning before the horses fed, and ride them all the way to Disneyland, right? And just let them go and play all day and steal white boys' bikes and ride back home. So then one day my cousin, Lil J, he says, man, y'all not blackjack boys, y'all, we treetops. I'm like, treetops? Like, yeah, we are, our hood is treetops. So I live on Elm Street. It's Poplar Street, Maple Street, Cedar Street, Spruce Street. All the streets are named after trees. So at that time when I grew up, from Central, Rosecrans, to Compton Boulevard, to the canal, because it's a canal that separates our sides. And all of that area was originally, we was all treetops. And then in the 70s, they became Palmer Block. Palmer is 1 block away from Arbutus, from Brazil. So they became Palmer Block Crips, and all of them, we was all treetops. Then my brother them, they became Cedar blocks, because Cedars are dead in the street. You hear a lot of dudes telling you out of LA Crips or this and this and that about what they did, but you very seldom hear, or you never hear them coming talking about they did any drive-bys or did anything in the city of Compton, because our streets are so confusing. Every other street is a dead end. So you turn a corner one way and go another way, and you blocked in. So if you don't know the neighborhood, you can't do nothing in there. So I'm original, and the Piru Street is the west side. It's a street actually called Piru. So the Piru Street is a street. Everybody on Piru Street was just like hustlers. The Bowen family, all of them was bank robbers. So Mickey Blue, he was the oldest brother, and we used to go over there and play football with him. And Mickey, he the first one introduced us to what real money was. And we wanted to be just like Mick and be a bank robber, you know. So the first time we ever heard the word Piru was about 1962. The feds came in and they was looking for him and asked Miss Bowen, like, where's your son? Him and Clarence Grandy, Lonnie Hall, and I think it was Victor Murphy. I'm not sure about Vic. But they like, you know, we looking for him, and the police came out and asked us, hey, you ever seen the Piru Boys? So that was the 60s. I was the anointed of the Piru Boys, you know. Every house on Piru Street is like 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 sons. So I mean, it's a gang of boys on the street. It's a long street. So that was the creation. And Compton is 10 square miles, so we always did everything different. You know, Compton, the city of Compton, we've had more athletes go to the Olympics than any other state. More black athletes go to the Olympics. You know, when you talk about gangster rap, the birth of gangster rap is NWA. We've had, you know, Kendrick Lamar, we had Game, now we got YG, go all the way back. The first rapper to ever have his name on a billboard was DJ Quick on Sunset in the 90s. Quick is the name. So he's the first rapper in the whole United States to ever have his name on a billboard. So we got Venus and Serena Williams. So it's great things that happen out of Compton, you know. And for people to misinterpret it, we don't have any projects in Compton. Everybody is homeowners. You know what I'm saying? You can't come to Compton and find the Nickerson Gardens or the Jordan Down projects. We don't have projects in Compton.
Right. You guys mostly have houses,
Yes,
maybe
sir.
some apartment complexes?
They just the Grandees was an apartment complex. It's 1 block. And then they opened up Wilmington Arms in the 70s, you know.
Okay. You were there before the gangs even formed.
These new gangs. I am the gang. Like I said, from 1950, you know, like I told you, we had gangs. We had who was the Nutty Block Crips. Now, before they was Nutty Block, before they was Grandee, they was called Boot Hill because their neighborhood is right next to a graveyard. So the graveyard, so they were called Boot Hill. Then you got over here on the west side of Compton, or by Enterprise, it was the swamps. So there was swamp area there. So they was the Swamp Boys. So we've all had interchanges. You know what I'm saying? So we've always had gangs. You know, they had the Slausons in LA, they had the businessmen, they had the rebel rousers, they had the gladiators. So, you know, they had the Sleepy Lagoon murder down in Los Angeles with the Mexican gangs, Maravilla, white fence. So it's always been gangs, you know, to the effect that it came into the 70s and the birth in 1969, the birth of the Crips. And they ravaged the black community, and in defense, the Bloods came along, and then Piru came, you know. And Piru was just a mechanism that ain't nobody gonna come in Compton and just run nothing just because they're homeowners and this and that. You ain't gonna take no leather coats, you're not taking shoes. It's not just gonna get took. So it came in a defense, and then it presented itself where it became a culture, and then it started, and that culture came about where we started eating off of each other and forgot who the real enemy was and became enemies of ourselves. You feel what I'm saying?
At what point did you see the demographics change in Compton, where the white people started to leave?
It was called white flight, 1969, 1970. We had the first, in 1973, we were the first black-run city west of the Mississippi's. We had a black mayor, had a black police chief, had a black city council, and you cannot have a progressive city when they take the economics. So when white America did white flight and went to Anaheim, went to Chino Hills, they took their money with them. So now they create a ghetto, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like I tell people, it's like, it's not about the game, it's knowing the rules of the game, right? Once you know the rules, I can't trick you, no, but if you don't know the rules, everything you do is a foul, huh? But when you knew better, you do better.
Right.
So we don't know better yet, but we trying to show people in a different mannerism, like, man, I'm still here. Ain't a gang of hickeys on my head. You know, I ain't got no gang of gunshot wounds, and I've been relevant in the street all my life. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I grew up with a mother and a father. My father died when I was 13. My mother's from Jackson, Mississippi, graduated from college, was an only child. Only thing she knew is what my father told her. And we grew up in a whole another dispensation. I was fascinated with pimps and hustlers. And so my mother go to sleep at 8:30, 9:30. We was out the window going reveling in the city, right? We grew up, like Clarence Darrow said it, he was interviewing some convicts in Cook County Jail in Chicago. And he says that you're a victim of the rhetoric of no. And it's not what you do. You just don't go to the norm, what America or what somebody tells you to do. You know what I'm saying? But since you don't understand it, and you're a product of the rhetoric of no, we're the products of the rhetoric of no. Whatever they said was illegal, we made it like it was survival, you know? So okay. You play by the rules, you look at the rules. Yeah, our family grew up, you know, get a good job, get you a family. But then I'm watching the Untouchables. I'm watching James Cagney. I'm watching these gangster movies where these white folks with suits. But that's just a show. You don't understand, at the end of it, ain't no commercial in real life. Right. We can do stuff and this and that. When you lay a dead body down, it ain't no Camel Soup commercial coming on and saving you. You got to go, and it just don't stop at the scene of the crime. Because somebody loved that person that ain't no longer there. And so it don't get better when you go to prison. It get worse. You got to keep on doing what you're doing in order to survive. You know, swim or sink. But everybody don't know that. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to say something. So we get to this little Cat Williams looking dude, Charleston White. And he professes. He's from Dallas, Texas. They didn't even recognize blacks in Dallas, Texas until Crips and Bloods came. If you look at the history of Dallas, Texas, when they speak of gangs from the 70s on, it's MS-13 was a Mexican gang from California. TS, Texas Syndicate Mexicans, the Aryan Brotherhood, the Skinheads. They have no mention, them niggas was in check right there in Dallas, Texas. 1983, 82, 83, don't know the exact date. This guy by the name of Freeway Rick He took the Hoovers out there, and they set up posts selling crack cocaine. And when he set it up dealing with the MS-13s, Mexicans from California. And they were serving dopes to blacks in their projects, Rupert projects, gang of little projects. Blacks still wasn't running nothing. The 83, 84, 85, a gang of other gangs started coming up there and putting them dudes on, and they didn't have to get it from Mexicans no more. So they put them on. So here we got this little Jimmy the Cricket looking guy. He learned about gangbanging in 1991. Nobody even gangbanged in 91. These dudes had start gangbanging from Colors, and he said he read Monster Cody's book. Dude, he got in trouble with some stuff, and what he says now about how he tells people like, oh, well, people called me a snitch and this and this and that. Nobody pulled no paperwork. It's impossible to put paperwork on him because at 21, his record was sealed. So your record sealed, you can't pull it. But you know what he didn't know? The police report ain't sealed. We from Cali, man. We know law. They say more than one way to skin a cat. So little rat looking nigga, I know everything that happened with you. Everything. All that you said, how you was giving this and this, they gave him 7 years. He went to juvenile detention. He was being pressured in juvenile detention. He ain't but 4'11" now. So you think how he was at 14. Well, I did stuff. No, you didn't do it because you wanted to do it. Them Crips pressured you to do it. And when he went to a juvenile court and they was talking about sending him to the penitentiary, the staff at where he was told him, man, if they send him there, he gonna be a real homosexual or they gonna kill him. Give us one more chance. So now you're 17, you done been beat up and been pressured for 3 or 4 years. Now you done finally got the game. Now you stay there till you're 21, you come out, now you this monster Crip. So here you are, you a Crip. He claims he was a 60 Crip. You know anything about gangbanging?
Yeah.
Okay, do you know 60 Crips and 8 Trey Gangsters Crips been fighting for 30 years?
Yeah, yes, I'm familiar with that.
Okay, so would you imagine a 60 Crip would go to St. Andrews Park and look for Melvin Farmer to find the 8 Trey and tell him he a 60 Crip?
Oh, okay, nah.
How do that sound?
Is that what he's saying?
That's what he did. Melvin Farmer introduced him to Cappuccino and introduced him to Hugh. He didn't know nobody in the 60s. He met Melvin Farmer on the internet and came out here, and Melvin embraced him and took him over to all the 60s. And then allowed him to come to Nipsey Hussle. He hadn't been in California before that. Talking about I was on a journey. You was lost and turned out. And now you start barking. And you get into it and you come tell people, fuck a character. You're a character. Everything you say is a lie and you know it. He got a gun, he's never used it. He was involved in a murder, he was in the back seat. He didn't know the people was dead until he got to the police station. He's never pulled a trigger. In his youth authority, he ain't got a stabbing. I don't even think he want to fight. But we can get out here and we can bark on who we are and what we do. Everything I done was intentional. I caught a murder robbery, went to youth authority for the robbery, got in youth authority, got involved in a riot, laid them down in a riot. I'm the first person to leave California Youth Authority, YTS, and went straight to San Quentin. I didn't go to Soledad first, didn't go to Tracy first, went straight to the Adjustment Center. And I didn't lock up. I did all my time.
Okay, so well, let's go back a little bit, man. You mentioned that you had a robbery. You already did your time for, right? So you're okay to speak on it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've been convicted for it.
Okay, so you had a robbery?
That was in 68.
In 68. Okay, can you tell me what happened?
We robbed 15 thrifty stores.
Okay.
and ends up got involved in my crime partners went into a barber shop and killed 2 people in the barber shop and all we got out of it was $1.38. So shit go bad.
Wow. Yeah. Damn. Okay. And how'd you guys get caught?
My crime partner ends up coming back to Compton, and he shoots this preacher at the Jack in the Box on Compton Boulevard and Central. And the Bible saved the preacher's life. And while he was arguing with the preacher, Compton police came in. And when he got arrested, he was the trigger man, and he told on everybody else.
Oh, wow.
He did a Charleston white.
Wow. So this guy, he is one that does the shooting, gives everybody else up.
Give everybody else
How
up.
many of you guys was it that he gave up?
5 of us.
5 of you guys. Okay.
Yeah.
And so now you guys get arrested.
He tells at the time Huey Taylor was a police. He grew up with us, and when Adolphus Cole got to the police station, he confessed to everything, the murder in Southgate, and he told everybody that was with him my name, brought the police to each one of our houses.
Did you end up getting convicted, or did you take a deal?
I took a deal. I took the Youth Act and got 6 months to life. They fought it in trial. Me and Linwood, we went to Youth Authority, and they went to prison. Jesse got 7 years to life, and the one that did all the telling, he got all the time. He got life without a possibility.
So even after he confessed, they still ended up throwing the book at him.
He was he did all the shooting.
Wow.
You know.
Okay, and so you sound like you got a pretty good deal.
I got it. Yeah.
Okay, and now
I got an education out of it. I got went to school, got a barber's license. Went to Laverne University of Laverne. You understand me? In urban economics. You know, so it worked for me then. And they found out they were educating niggas too much, so they stopped that shit.
Oh wow. What age did you get out of jail?
My last trip, I got out in '95.
Well, no, I meant for that original one.
1976, 8 years.
Okay, so you do 8 years and you get out of jail, and what do you do?
Start selling dope.
Right when you get out. Okay, so
no, it's not right when I get out. When I got out, I went to work. I was a surgical technician. I started working in a psych facility, and at that time, 1976, it became PCP, an era of PCP, and Compton, California is the mecca of PCP. And my girlfriend's brother, Roscoe, he was one of the main cooks of PCP, and I started seeing them. And so I'm working every day, emergency medical technician driver, dealing with ambulatory patients out of Gardena Memorial Hospital in Gardena. And one of my original crime partners, he was a hijacker. He had a life sentence for hijacking liquor trucks. So I'm out in Anaheim one day, I see him, and he robbed a damn catering truck and had about $500 worth of change. And I'm like, man, bro, you can't do this no more. You know, this robbery is outdated. So we got together and started learn how to cook and master PCP.
what was the difference? You were gone for 8 years, but those 8 years you were locked up seems like they were pretty pivotal times in Compton.
Very pivotal. Everything changed. When I left the street, Rosecrans.
Were there Pirus and Crips at the time when you went to jail?
No,
okay.
No. They didn't start until '69. Well, Crips started in the first Crip murder was 1969. Okay. The most prevalent one was in '72 when Ricardo Sims killed an attorney. Well, allegedly killed an attorney named Ballou, killed his son at the Palladium in Hollywood.
Okay, was that the jacket I believe I heard about?
About the leather jacket. But the dude, he didn't even have a leather. He had a suit on. He was trying to protect one of his friends.
Right. Okay.
And he got into it, and he ended up dying from it. And it just bam, that made media.
Okay, so you get out of jail, and everything is different. So now there's I take it, a lot of gangs now. Well, not that a lot of gangs, but it's more defined.
Right.
More
right.
Crips and Bloods in Compton.
Right.
What was that like for you when you got out?
Well, in 1976, it was the bicentennial year, so gang banging wasn't, at that point, from 72 to 76, it had changed the dynamics when drugs came in. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was more of a business. Now you got your cliques and your crews, but at that time everybody was eating. Everybody had Cadillacs. Everybody was, doing their thing. So it eased the conflict. And you seen dudes, you seen Crips. We had the Cool Jazz Festival. Tookie and all his boys would come at, and we'd be in the stands. They'd take off their shirts. It was just like a muscle building contest, right? So if you caught slipping, you may get it, but it was like, man, everybody was gangsters at that time, really gangsters, so you take a fade, whatever it was, so these dudes are hiding under the cloak of somebody that they really ain't, so that's the difference now. So when I came home, the street, before I left, it wasn't no such thing as a mall. Okay. Rosecrans Shopping Center was just being built. I come back, it's the Del Alamo Mall. I went to the mall, and I've been going in prison. Everybody walks clockwise. If you go counterclockwise, it's something wrong.
Okay.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you walking this way, everybody walking clockwise. You see some motherfucker coming that way, somebody gonna die.
Oh wow. Okay.
Now I get to the street, and here it is. They take me to the mall the first week I'm home, and I got white people bumping into me. Man, I'm not like having panic attacks.
Wow.
You don't have no white man get that close up on you. People just walk around like, damn, what the hell? I had to go sit in the car.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Because my reaction wasn't like that. My peripheral seeing you come by and you lighter than me, my first reaction like, what the hell he coming over here for? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the dynamics, and you have to go back into like, damn, calm this shit down. You're in another place. You're not in that same mentality, but it's a good survival skill, to let you know certain things just ain't supposed to be. They say in the jungle there ain't but two things in the jungle, right? Predator and prey.
That's it.
If you ain't predator, you the prey, huh?
Yep.
So it's the same here, but it's subliminal, huh?
You mean, in the streets?
Yeah, in the streets, in corporate America.
Okay.
If you weak, bro, they gonna eat your ass up, huh?
Oh yeah.
They gonna work the fuck out of you and not even pay you.
They would if they could.
You know what I'm saying? And you look at a dude, especially when it comes to blacks. I go to a job for application as a janitor. A janitor. All you gotta do is sweep and mop, right? So why would they ask you for your background and what your hobbies are? They want to know everything about you, because if they need somebody that can work a computer and you're a janitor with computer skills, they're gonna work you for free, huh?
Oh yeah, if they can, they will, put you on some other jobs and shit.
Yeah, and you just go
pay you for cheap.
Yeah, for cheap.
What they should be paying.
And like, oh yeah, man, I'm just happy to be here because they work, and you're happy about it. So a lot of us get used like that, and in the gangs you get misused, and that's what happened to little Jimmy the Cricket. He got in jail in his little youth authority, and he was misused. And once a person is molested, they become molesters. That's what they say. I don't know nothing too much about molesters, but I hear him talk about booty bandits and this and that. You don't talk about that stuff and you had some kind of association with it. You didn't have some traumatic events in your life to speak on every man. I've never had a desire for homosexuals. Did all 25 years of my crime partner messing with the punks? The one that told on everybody he shot heroin. I went to school all while I was in prison. If I come to the yard, it was to shut it down. I ain't coming out myself for nothing but to put in work and go lay back down. The dynamics and the change and how it developed into being a situation where we start eating off each other, you know, and it got to the point where it's such a massive disrespect, and it's the OG's fault, you know. I have to take responsibility because I wasn't there, you know what I'm saying? So from the 70s to the 90s, 90% of black OGs was either in prison or on crack cocaine. So you missed 30 years of your children's life, you know. If my oldest sons, if they had depended on me, they'd be sitting down to piss, right? Because I was in prison, they was there with their mother go to the bathroom and sit down, huh? So if they see her sitting down there, luckily they all men, but it didn't have nothing to do with me. You feel what I'm saying? So when I got out, I mean, I did what I could when I could, but you gonna tell a kid something you ain't been around, you know? But I stayed connected with my children when I was in prison, when I wasn't. Birthday presents and graduations, I stayed a part of their life. And I got 10 children, all of them know me. I kick it with everyone. I got a 9-year-old and an 11-year-old I'm with right now, you know? So for this idiot to say something, I'm a homeowner. I don't live in the park. You know what I'm saying? After all this time, I got my shit together. I'm still working on it, but I'm an example to my neighborhood. If Marvin Kinsley can make it, anybody can.
Right.
It ain't about what I talk about, it's what I walk about. I show you. And, you know, you don't get no, like I told you earlier, when you catch a body, it just ain't that. It's some more technicalities of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So that there, it don't take no road scholar to go to prison. Any dummy can go to prison, huh? Once you get there, it's either swim or sink. But for a man to be in the neighborhood all his life, ain't never ratted on nobody, and stayed relevant in the neighborhood and grew up in that same neighborhood, he's the one with a testimony. How'd he do what I couldn't do? Going to prison is like flunking the 3rd grade, huh? Repeating shit. You know, you think we get better in prison?
Oh, prison's rough.
Yeah. It's not rough. Once you get into the environment, we are adapting to anything we do. But then, how many scholars you know that just got out of prison?
True.
They go right back to the scene of the crime, do the same dumb shit, and be right back because we can't handle the street. The first week you out, everybody, oh, you look so good, and you this and this and that. Bro, prison is a uniform system that does everything for you. 6 o'clock in the morning, the bell rings, it's time to go to chow. 12 o'clock, the bell rings, it's time to eat again. You go to work, everything is on a system. Then you get locked down. But when you come home, you're on your own. You wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, your parents are still asleep. It ain't no chow hall. You can't go to the lounge. You get your clothes dirty, you got to go to the cleaners and pay for it yourself. A lot of us can't handle that responsibility. So what you do, you go right back to prison. Lying. Oh man, I was out there, I made $100,000, but your pink slip say you got a burglary. You know what I'm saying? But you come back in, you got all these street stories. You ain't really had sex with nobody. And I had hoes, I was doing this, I was doing that. You ain't got a picture of nobody. So with that situation, you got children growing up. How respect you? I get out of prison, here's 15, 20-year-olds selling crack cocaine, got badass cars. Now here you are 40 and 50 working for a 20-year-old. Shining their rims. It'll never happen, not in my life. Give a fuck what I gotta do. You know what I'm saying? Not gonna set my shit down to no kid.
Taking it back to the 70s, because I'm really interested, you know what I'm saying, in how things were back then. You mentioned Tookie. So you guys didn't get along with Tookie?
No.
Did you ever have any interactions with him?
Yeah. You know, We'd run into each other, all different clubs, different. But the Piru boys are a whole different animal. You just ain't gonna run up on us like that.
Did you guys get any fights or anything?
No, me and Took never had a fight. I've never, man, I've never had an interaction or a fight. I'd had a couple of squabbles with a couple of Crips, probably, but that ain't my mission. That ain't my mission. I got white people problems. I'm trying to deal back with white America. One time I was in DVI, Dual Vocational Institute, in Tracy, California, and I came down from the hole from San Quentin, and I was supposed to go to Soledad, and the bus took me to DVI, right? I went to DVI. When I got to DVI, I get there, I got a red TV, a red sweatshirt, a red hat. Dude, oh man, who is Marvin Kinsey? Like, what's up? He like, check this out, cuz. You got to tell the police you got to leave. I said, tell them I'm going to leave for what? He said, man, this is Blue City. We ain't got no slobs on the line. I'm like, well, same bus brought you, dude. The fuck I'm going to just lock up. And I rode that line for 5. I had one of my little homies, Sherwood from Front Hood. You dig what I'm saying? We've been knowing, but we all from Compton. He like, cuz, if y'all got it, one day he came out with a red sweatshirt. If y'all want to do something tomorrow, do it head up. But y'all ain't gonna rat pack him. Santana Mike, I had help, but I was on my own. You dig what I'm saying? Yeah. And then I had to put in some work. And once they see this, like, oh, this dude here is some. Oh, so they came, Booker T and Big Swan came in. I'm like, bro, I had some business to take care of, but I'll get with this Crip as soon as I get out. Like, no, Marv, check this out. We didn't discuss it. Man, all the homies say you cool. You can stay on the line, but can't no other slob come on. I don't care about nobody else, as long as I'm all right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So once you do something that's credible, the fuck is this gonna stop? We represent credible messengers. In the violence out of Columbus, Ohio, with Sean Stevenson, So we go all over the United States trying to create a better platform. I don't tell you what, don't do this. So that's all I want to do. And like I say, I appreciate your forum, and I appreciate you letting us get it in, get in my little 3 minutes and 47 seconds of fame.
No, it's nothing, bro.
All right.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
You know how I started going to prison, bro? It was a man by the name of Billy Jackson. They had the Scared Straight program, right? So we're in Eastlake Juvenile Hall. So these dudes come in, a Mexican, a white boy, and this black dude. And they came in, had they blue coats on, and they jeans, looking tough with their afros. And they's like, man, you little niggas, we right here. I started off right here. Eastlake Juvenile Hall, right where you are. I went to camp, then I went to Y, now I'm doing life in San Quentin. You niggas couldn't make it in San Quentin. You'd be watching somebody draw and somebody f you in the ass. And we was scared. Ooh. Then I started thinking, like, I'm tough. So I went to camp, I went to Y, and came to San Quentin, right? When I got to San Quentin, I said, man, anybody know Billy Jackson? Like, yeah, man, Billy just came back here on doing. I said, where's Billy Jackson? I'm going to the lower yard one day with my homies. I said, Billy Jackson, you remember me? He like, nah, bro, where? I said, you remember Eastlake Juvenile Hall? He like, yeah, man. I said, you remember you told everybody that we couldn't make it in prison, that somebody would fuck us in our ass, and we'd be. I just came here to find out who fucked you in your ass.
Oh wow.
Oh man, well no, man. Everybody ain't scared of that shit. Some kids take it as a challenge. Oh, you couldn't be no Crip. We too hard. Oh, you couldn't be no Piru. Nigga, you can be all of that. What does it take? Stand there and look stupid? So we can misinform you that, oh man, we just thought we was helping. Nigga, you can't help me trying to threaten me. So that's the 70s, that's how they were illustrating. And I was in youth authority. I knew most of the original Crips that came through. There wasn't no gang of Pirus or Bloods in Youth Authority. You know what I'm saying? They had Kevin Williams, Crazy Crip. They had Stanley Watkins, Chipper from Avenues, Scooter from Avenues, Minnesota, West Side Crip, had Anthony Jackson, had Bunchy Griffin. All of these dudes was originals. And we had to deal with them every day. You know what I'm saying? And your car, it was generally, and when we was banging, it's 10 to 15 Crips to every one Blood, to every one Piru. So you had to sleep in shifts because you're going to fight somebody every day because they didn't believe in head-ups. That's why the name came, cowards run in packs. Because they don't believe in no head-ups. No, the hell with that. We five of us going to pack you out, but you ain't going to do it to us. So those are the things that we went through. So for a person to come, a foreigner, to come on our turf and to get to rattling about people that he held homage to, now he's on a platform and you're saying fuck Nipsey, fuck Monster Cody. If it hadn't been for the book of Monster Cody, you wouldn't even know what a Crip was. Some white woman felt that you was pretending to be a Crip. She gave you a book of a real Crip, and you read it with your one eye and got some information and took it and ran with it like you've been doing this all your life. He hooked up with Mob James, and then him and Mob gets into it, and he tells Mob James, fuck him, but then he turns around and says, fuck Montreal. You never met that man. You don't know how we feel about him. And we all feel some way about it. But me and Melvin is the only one that took action and go there and get with it. And you ran out the room. Like, nigga, be real with you. We too old to beat you up. Not too old, but it could happen, you know. So he gets on a platform the next day, talking about some old men came out there trying to check him and that we homeless. Nigga, you don't do your research. I'm a homeowner, been a homeowner most of my, I ain't never lived in an apartment. Been successful, got a job, deal with Black Unicorn Factory. I deal with IPO startups. I got a legitimate, but my structure is Piru. It's a city. We citizens of the city of Compton, California. I call it Bompton, California. As Melvin said, not set tripping, set trending. First black community west of the Mississippis. Nobody else. Compton, California. So I'm proud to be from Compton. I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? And anything anybody say about that 10 square miles, I got a clap back for it. Everybody hears, when you see your water and you have your bottled water and you see artesian wells and they show you all them mountains, the first 21 artesian wells is out of Compton, California. So y'all drinking Compton water.
Yeah, okay.
You know?
Well, yeah, how'd you guys get the call to go over there? You guys just, you thought it was a good opportunity to confront him about the things he's doing?
Like I said, it had been like since August or September that this happened, and I've been trying to get it. So we was invited by E from Boss Talk, who is supposed to be a friend of dude's, and he said the dude that said he would do the interview with us. So we came up there to do the interview, and we had didn't set up a proper platform. So, but we allowed him, and so once he was allowed to do his talk, he spouted off and said what he wanted to say, and nobody even didn't interrupt him at all about talking about characters, and he don't respect characters, and he don't do this, and what he don't respect, and what their mama called them, and you don't know them people. So once he finally shut up, and he asked Melvin, and Melvin started interrupting. Like, oh man, bruh, but that was his plan, to hit and run. But we in your city. We're in your city. So that's it, but I just wanted to set the record straight that he's a liar and he's a coward. He's he's not even a makeup Crip. He's really a out of sort agent. You know, he's part of the gang police. You know, I say Rick Ross is the hip hop police, and he the gang police.
All right. Okay. Is there any other stories you'd like to share or anything?
Not right now. I got a gang of them now.
I know you do, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, man, I appreciate you.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity, you know, and I just got to set the record straight, you know, whatever it is. It ain't no hard, it's hard feelings, you know what I'm saying? But I understand men should be able to respectfully disagree. And whatever your platform is, you still got to respect mine. And when people say respect is so loosely, you just don't respect me just out. I don't care if you disrespect me, I'm gonna kill you. But if I think I can get away with it, if I start touching you on your knee, then touch you, next thing I do, I'll slap you in the mouth.
If you let somebody get away with touching you, yeah.
Yeah. So in prison, if you touch on me, you must be trying to suck my dick or something. So get back. Men don't touch men.
Yeah. Okay.
You feel what I'm saying?
I agree with
So
that.
we have to deal with a respect of mutual, like, man, killer knows another killer. And nobody want a hard job, huh? So shit, let's go on and get somebody weak.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the dynamics of life. So that's all I wanted to, and like I say, I appreciate your forum, and I appreciate you letting us get it in, you know, get in my little 3 minutes and 47 seconds of fame.
No, it's nothing, bro.
All right.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.